Everyone knows prescription drug abuse is a problem across the nation, with over 7 million adults intentionally abusing prescription drugs last year alone. It's estimated that 2,500 youths try prescription drugs every day, so it's clearly a problem across the nation. We asked local Montanans if it's a problem in Montana.
I don't think so.
It's a growing problem, that's for sure. I mean, it used to be, everybody always heard about meth, that was the big deal. Obviously, we still have the meth problem, but prescription drugs are starting to be the bigger issue.
Yes, I think it's not only a problem, but I think that there's more of a problem today than there was 5 or 10 years ago. I definitely think we have a problem with this.
Yes. Yes, I think it is.
Yes, I do. It's very obvious in the amount of controlled drugs that are dispensed.
We decided we'd ask these hard-working Montanans if they felt this abuse was more abundant among teens or grown adults.
I think the bigger problem is probably with teens. We see it even with the adults, though. We'll get reports that they say, "Oh, I just bought this, this bottle of pills," and all of a sudden somebody came in and stole it. And that's what they'll tend to do. Is you'll see people that abuse it. They'll have their prescription. They'll call it in and somebody stole it. And a lot of times they've used it or sold it, and they just want more.
You know what? We see a little bit of it at the high school level, where kids are caught with prescription drugs.
Young kids today certainly find medication in their parents' drug cabinets and start using medication that they should not at an early age, and start experimenting, which can be a real problem. And adults certainly have a severe problem as well. A lot of these drugs anymore today are a lot stronger than they used to be, so the abuse potential is a lot higher.
Well, it certainly is frightening to learn that kids are more likely to abuse prescription drugs than adults, so we set out to learn whether or not prescription drugs are more commonly used than illegal drugs.
I can't say one way or the other if it's a bigger problem yet, but I know it is a growing problem. They're having a lot more problems with it. We're seeing more of that than we used to. Whether it's actually surpassed the normal illegal drugs, I can't say.
Yes, I think it is.
Those prescription drugs that we see, I don't know if students understand just how powerful they are, but how addictive they are. So certainly information would help, and then, no different than alcohol or marijuana.
Marijuana is very, very common, and hydrocodones and Ativans and Valiums are on the street as well. The marijuana hopefully will get more restricted now, and it will be less of a problem. But high school kids have marijuana cards, and not necessarily using it themselves, but selling it. And it's available 24 hours a day to most any kid that wants it. And I personally found that doing drug tests on my kids on a sporadic basis is something that is not unusual anymore, and I recommend.
This woman seemed very knowledgeable about prescription drugs, so we asked if she could show us a few of the more frequently abused drugs.
Some very common things that are used. We have Valium or diazepam. We have Vicodin, Lortab, which is hydrocodone and Tylenol. Ativan or lorazepam. Oxycontin, a very big street drug. And Percocet, oxycodone, and Tylenol. All of these can be fatal if taken in larger quantities, especially if you're not used to this type of medicine, and kids don't understand how serious it can be when you take medication that is not prescribed for you. It literally can kill you. Parents need to have a very good rapport with their kids, communicate with their kids, and that is a key to hopefully avoiding this type of use.
Rather than take that first step into it, it's easier just to say no thanks. And hopefully, if you've got good friends, they will tell you, all right, we won't bother you anymore. They will.
Or it's not bringing up in the first place.
Exactly.
I think that the best prevention with high school age students is good, accurate information, and the parents living in their back pocket so that they're not likely to make bad choices.
You can also reach out to the school counselor, and there's also NA meetings. You can go online and search for NA meetings and attend one of those openly.
So it seems there is help for those who need it. Prescription drugs are highly advanced and yet extremely addictive. This resulted in nearly 8,500 deaths last year. We have to ask ourselves, is it worth it?